What is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. It is Friday, January 11, 2019. Thanks so much for being here. No, I have not lost my mind, but this is indeed the Bird Box edition of the video I'm bringing to you today. So, why the hell am I blindfolded? So, a lot of the videos I've been doing have been pretty cut and dry, pretty straightforward on the topics that I've been speaking on, and been wanting to add in some more elements of creativity. And this came to me yesterday or the other day in meditation, so I thought, fuck it, I'll roll with it. So, spoiler alert, if you guys have not seen the movie and you want to, don't watch this video, obviously. If you have seen the movie, check out this video. If you're not sure if you're going to watch the movie, maybe you will watch this video, because if you can kind of get through the weirdness of this, there's actually a really important message that I want to get across with this that has to do with what is going on in life right now, in the world, in the astrology, in the universe, all of it. So, the premise of the movie, right, Bird Box, the Netflix original Bird Box starring Sandra Bullock, is about an unseen force that befalls society and starts causing people that see this unseen force in some hallucinogenic state to see their greatest fear and subsequently commit suicide. They kill themselves. I know, pretty dark, right? So, Sandra Bullock, at some point during the movie, with her two children, they are actually forced to leave the security of the house they've been hiding out in for a few years, and they decide that they need to blindfold themselves to make this journey to go find this alleged sanctuary where supposedly this place is immune to this monster, this unseen force, where it cannot get you there. So they end up going there, but of course they face dangers along the way. So here's where I'm going to start drawing the parody. I want you to consider this, that in society we operate with a lot of logic. There's really no room for the kind of like the invisible, subconscious, just intuitive knowing, spiritual being. So, it's logic, it's patterns, it's old situations that we've been in for a very long time. Like, this is just how it is. This is society. This is status quo. And sure, like, it builds like on top of it, but it really kind of stays the same status quo. And so I want you to think about this idea, as bizarre as this sounds, that the people that are seeing this fear from this unseen force that are killing themselves in this parody are actually committing spiritual suicide. Because what we have is that all of us living in society choosing to double down on our old patterns and our logic and continuing to just stick with what we know in society and sticking with the comforts of what we know. And we do that out of fear. We do that out of our greatest fear, whatever that may look like. And a lot of times the greatest fear for us is that we're not equipped, that we're not good enough to do the thing that it's actually burning really deep down inside that we actually really fucking want to do with our lives. That's like a burning, just inner knowing purpose of knowing why we're here, like as individuals. And so the people that actually would blindfold themselves, well, let me back up for a second. So I want to bring a little bit of astrology into this too. So right now, all the planets are direct, which means that they're all moving forward. It means all of the planets are moving forward in life, meaning that if there was ever a time, and with all the great aspects in astrology that's going on right now, it is to move forward into your life, to move forward with this purpose that hopefully you're finding that you have. But the one thing that will hold us back in the astrology right now is Chiron at the end of Pisces. Chiron, the weird situations, the wounded warrior, and this just really just bizarre, Pisces at the end of the zodiac, end of cycles situations. And that is kind of where we can get lost, doubling down into old weird patterns, subconscious patterns, relationships that aren't working out, jobs that aren't working out, projects, just essentially just the way that it's the things that are standing in the way that need to be let go of for us to move forward with our purpose, because it is a journey and we cannot take all of our stuff with us to go on this journey. So that's really what I'm talking about here with the fear. It's the fear that comes up from giving up things, and from stepping forward into feeling and trusting that you can do this. Because right now in astrology, there is no planets in air signs. Okay, air signs meaning it's the intellectual, it's the thinker. Okay, so none of the stuff that you're feeling called towards right now, none of the stuff that I'm feeling called towards right now makes any sense logically. Okay, it's all a very just intuitive knowing of a purpose that you need to move towards in order to get to basically your oasis of that, hopefully, and should probably involve helping other people, service to others. So imagine that the people that in the movie, Sandra Bullock and her children, they're actually blindfolding themselves. They're putting on the blindfold and they're not seeing fear the way that the rest of society is seeing fear, and that's succumbing them to their spiritual death. Okay? So because they're blindfolded and they can't see the same way that the rest of society is seeing, it forces them to use other senses. And that other sense that I'm going to parody in this situation is that inner knowing, that intuition of what you're guided towards, despite the fact that it makes no sense, despite the fact that it's hard to actually see the logical steps that it's going to take, but it's something that you really want to do. It's something that feels right, and it's something that feels scary. Because, what Sandra Bullock and the children choose to do is, well, they don't even have a choice, right? They get forced out of the comfort zone, okay? The comfort of the security of the home. So in our lives, it's any comfort. It's the comforts of our environment, of the relationships, the projects, the situations that we're in. It's all the things that we need to leave behind to go on a journey to get to a better destination, but it seems super scary because it's dangerous out there. So we can choose to stay in the comforts, but the thing is that in the movie, these insane people come in and basically try to attack them and force them outside, because in the movie, the insane people are actually immune to killing themselves when they see this unseen force. So their purpose, when they do actually see it, is actually to get people that are not insane to look at the unseen force and see their greatest fears and thus commit suicide. So they come in and they force them out, and you're no longer protected, right? That's where we're at right now, is you might think that you're staying in comfort and security, but the real comfort and security is actually having the bravery, the courage to go and find the sanctuary. Because staying in the weird fucked up situations that you're in now that you know are not working out, you are not going to be protected. You are not safe there. And it's an illusion to think that you are. So they don't have a choice. They have to leave. They have to flee. And they go out. And yes, there's dangers out there, right? There's the unseen force. There's the insane people trying to attack them. There's the fact that they can't see where the fuck they're going. Like they literally they have a general direction of where they're wanting to go, but they can't actually see everything in front of them, right? They can't see the steps in front of them, similar to how we're being asked to move towards a higher calling right now, but we cannot see all the steps in front of us. So there is an element of not being able to see everything. So the thing is, though, is that in the movie, those are real dangers, but because the unseen force is actually causing people to see their deepest fears, what we have to look at in our own lives, back to reality here, not the movie, is that fear is not fucking real. Okay, it is not real. It is just a construct that is made up by our mind that wants to keep us from doing awesome things. And it doesn't mean that fear is a terrible, just nasty thing that we should try to resist, because that's just going to make it worse. Fear is actually going to be the thing that actually leads you in the direction that you want to go, because we don't know what's out there, what's in front of us as you're pursuing this purpose. Because it's unknown, it does bring up fear. That's where fear comes from, is like things that we don't know about. We want to stay in comfort. But if you actually move through that fear and into it, you'll see that that is actually like the guiding light that's like trying to take you to the right place. So when you leave the comforts, when you leave these old situations and you leave them behind, and you go out and you don't know what it is that you're going to be moving through, you don't know how it's going to look, it seems scary, but it's actually really not. It's actually, you're actually more protected moving through the fear to move towards where you want to go than you were staying in the old comforts of the home, the old situations. So, you know, also too about like the insane people in the movie, I would draw a reference that the insane people could almost be representative of people in society, whether, say whatever you want, like corrupt leaders, politicians, maybe even people that are just like really, you know, just unconscious to this idea of like moving forward into a higher purpose, not only for themselves, but they also like want everybody else to stay in society with them and not pursue their purpose. And perhaps this could be, you know, people that are unconscious that are actually negging on people that are pursuing their purpose. For example, like me doing like a crazy video like this and me talking about how I feel I am moving towards my purpose. You know, someone out there, you know, saying, you know, like judging this video or judging like what I'm doing, where they're like working like a 9-to-5 day job, but they're not really happy, but you know, that's where they're at. They want to be in society. They want to be just doing what they think that they're supposed to do and not pursuing something that feels, you know, more in alignment for them. And therefore they don't want to see anybody else do the same. So in a way, that's almost representative of the insane people in the movie that want you to see a certain thing. So when ultimately at the end of the movie, once they have made it through the dangers, they actually do get to the quote unquote sanctuary. And what they find is it is actually a school for the blind. So the reason that the people there that were immune is because they couldn't see in the first place, right? So they didn't have that issue. So consider that the people that are blind in the movie are blindfolded, that actually gather there, the ones that survived, are actually the ones that are the truth showers, the ones that are showing the way for, you know, the rest of humanity to step outside of society, to step outside of their patterns, to move towards. And that they chose to follow, you know, we're choosing to follow a higher calling, us, you know, being the ones that are blindfolding ourselves to our logic right now of what we think that we're supposed to be doing, and the fears, and seeing the fears out there, that we're actually more protected than ever by God because we are in alignment with our purpose. And that comes from, you know, my belief that, you know, we're here for a purpose, all of us individually and collectively. And that if you're in alignment with that purpose, that is when you're protected. That is when God and your angels in the universe looks upon you with favors, because you're doing what you came here to do. You can't always know what it is when you're first here growing up. And it's actually the people that think, again, that they're staying like in their comfort zone in society, that they're protected, and I don't think they are. So what I would say is that, you know, the overarching theme here is that, I know this is kind of like a bizarre like parody, and it seems kind of like dark and ominous, but I put this out there because even though it may not seem like it, ultimately what I want to inspire for people is to trust this inner knowing that is felt about pursuing a higher calling. If you're too afraid to do so and you're wanting to go even deeper into old, weird, fucked up situations and patterns that are not working out for you, and missing this awesome opportunity that's going on in the universe right now, that's reflected in the astrology, and missing out on that. I tell you this out of compassion for wanting to see other people pursue their purpose. Like, I don't want it to be just me and like a handful of like other people that were willing to, you know, have the courage and look weird and to other people and go for it, and be willing to deal with all like the questions about from everyone, like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell is this? I don't understand it. You know, I would really like to see people step up and have the courage to do it. So ask yourself this question, you know, are you on that path? Are you on that path of purpose? And I think one of the ways to know is that if it feels a little bit scary, at least, maybe actually probably even pretty fucking scary because you don't understand it, but it feels 100% right deep down, you're on your path. And letting all that other shit go. If you're in situations where you're kind of like, this is okay, or this is what I have to do, that's not on the path. It's just not. And I would say that if none of this made any sense and it didn't like resonate with you at all, I think you need to ask yourself, where might you be blocking yourself? Where might you be unconsciously making the choice to be unconscious in your life about what's really going on with your feelings, your intuition, what you're being guided towards? And a lot of times that takes the form of some sort of escapism. And escapism doesn't even have to be like sex or drugs or, you know, alcohol. I mean, it can be any vice, really. It can be binge watching Netflix, you know, because you're afraid to sit quietly with your thoughts because they scare the fuck out of you. You're afraid to sit with your feelings because they scare the fuck out of you. And you're not willing to go deeper and explore what is like really in that darker subconscious part of yourself that is actually trying to guide you towards something greater. So, you know, we all have responsibilities, right? Like, for example, I, you know, do personal training. I inspire people with that. I do coaching. I inspire people there. You know, I do these videos. I'm wanting to inspire there, wanting to get into more like public speaking, things like that. But I still have my responsibilities, but ones that I embrace. You know, I'm a single dad. I have my 9-year-old son. But here's the beauty of it is that I've seen where he is totally a part of that effort, that journey, that vision, that purpose that I have. Like, he is totally 110% in alignment with that. And so the thing is that you don't have to worry about what you're supposed to let go of and not let go of, because if you can get clear enough on it, you'll see that the things that are meant to be in your life will never be obstacles and just pure, just, you know, responsibilities that you don't want to have. They're in alignment with your purpose here. And, you know, relationships, that's totally a huge part of this anyway, because it really is, at the end of the day, it is about the collective. That's what we need to be moving towards, is that collective, moving away from the separation, moving away from, you know, religious wars, gender wars, race wars, you know, Democrat, Republican, just all that shit that is in society and is there to just cause fear and hysteria. So, I don't know, guys. I didn't know how this was going to go, but this was my first take on it. And, you know, it's really interesting doing this. But yeah, just, and, you know, I want to say this too, like, you know, it has nothing to do with the actual Bird Box movie, but, you know, if you want another visual of kind of what it is that I'm talking about here, think back to the third Matrix movie. I think it was called Matrix Revolutions, with Neo and Trinity and Morpheus and the whole gang. So at one point towards the end of the movie, Agent Smith has taken possession of one of the people that's actually outside of the Matrix, and there's a fight that ensues where he actually burns Neo's eyes with a live electrical cable, and it totally just like scars Neo, like his eyes get burned out. And the thing is that Neo can still see after that. Like, he didn't need his eyes to see after that. It was an inner knowing for him. Like, he could still see the path, even though he could not see with the way that everybody else sees. And the way that everybody else sees, what I bring this example back to in society, is everybody sees through the eyes of just what they can see, what makes sense to them logically, and just beliefs that they don't want to let go of, that maybe are holding them back, and just old patterns. He's able to tap into that other sense that I talked about. So, boom, it's what you got. Maybe I'll, you know, parody some other movies sometime. I don't know. This is just what came to me, but what the hell? You know, let's have some fun. Let's get weird, right? So, all right, you guys take care, and yeah, you have it. Oh, wow, it's bright, and there's a fuck ton of snow now. No wonder it's so bright. All right, guys, gonna take the day off tomorrow. Take a proverbial snow day, and I'll be back Sunday. All right, take care.